everyone, Dragothien here. Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. Today I wanted to talk about, is there a time where you have too many troops inside your city? And if so, what's the sweet spot? We're going to go into a few rallies that I've been a part of over the years in Rise of Kingdoms on larger cities and explain why there's so much dead whenever you have cities that are higher in power, and if there's a sweet spot to talk about with your city in particular so that you minimize your dead if you do get city rallied. Now, before we jump in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. Really looking forward to seeing you on the other side here. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So as you can see, my rally here is coming into what was the biggest player in Rise of Kingdoms history at the time. This was the zeroing of Solymar. I was the rally leader on this zeroing, and as we zoom in, the elite Julius Freddy Garrison shows its ugly head. This is 93 and 16 rallying Solymar. At the time of this particular video, he was at 350 million power roughly. Now, at the very beginning, he was over 450 million power. We've already rallied him quite a few times here. But let's go ahead and just let this video play out, and I'm going to let you watch this, and then we're going to discuss what this actually means from a, is there a point where there's too many troops inside somebody's city to where it's detrimental to have that many troops from a rally standpoint?
Has everything connected yet?
Oh my God. Connected, but you're dropping fast, Pinche.
Yeah, I know. People aren't reinforcing me. I'm at 1.8. There we go. 2.3.
Nice.
Yeah, witness. Can we get below 300 million in this rally?
I think we can. I think we can.
I think we do.
Reinforcements. Billy, have you joined a reinforcement yet?
I already joined, but there's nothing I can do.
AOC's full.
Rick has a march.
Oof, 155k.
1.4.
Oof. He's about to be 300 mil, guys.
Yeah. Pinche is at 1 mil. We're still okay for like half a minute, I guess.
Wow.
1.3.
Cancel again. No, you're only at 850. The rest are at 700, 600.
Think we can still keep it going since his troop count's getting low?
Yeah.
I
No,
think
it won't
so.
matter. It won't matter. There's a limit. We have to get it down to like, I think we have to do like 2 more rallies or 3 more coordinated rallies. 2 to 3 more coordinated rallies.
Alright,
When
Wow.
you need me to cancel, just
Wow.
tell it.
Yeah, he won't give you
It's about to go.
We'll let's cancel. Let's cancel out.
280 right now.
Okay.
Let me die. Let me
Get
die.
ready to cancel. Let's get ready to cancel. Do you want to stay? Yes or no? It's your truth.
No.
No. Okay.
Wait.
Not
Let me die.
I will call the cancel. And cancel now. Everybody cancel.
Okay, cancel.
Cancel.
Holy.
This was 80 million power gone.
Holy fuck.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna throw up again.
Oh, we had a great trade. A great trade.
Don't just look at it. We might need another alliance to tank. Like, we've done 2 tanks, we've lost, I'm sure,
Okay,
3 million
switch it
troops.
out. Sanguine,
Holy shit.
it's your turn to tank. You get the big sharp dildo this time.
Yeah.
Wait, we need to let the alliances know though. We're gonna need to let the alliances know. I think it's too much.
Yeah, hello? I have 19 infantry here, so we need time, though.
Yeah, so let's just continue. Fuck it. We're gonna die. I'm gonna die. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Now, that last statement, by the way, is kind of the mentality you need to actually accomplish something against some of these bigger cities with bigger troop counts. But this video I just showed you kind of goes to show that, yeah, there is a little bit of a detriment depending on the situation for a player to have over a certain amount of troops, because you can notice on the video, it takes so long for that city to actually go down to 0 that once the hospital fills up, it's just pure dead at that point. And now that we have Imprison, Now that we have the mechanics in the game, of course, that where if you are getting rallied, you can't teleport, you can't bubble whenever you are in War Frenzy. All those mechanics add up to the fact that you could potentially, even as a bigger player in a city, take massive troop loss for very little problems for the other side. Now, let's talk really quickly about the two scenarios that I'd like to talk about regarding this particular situation and if it's beneficial for you or not. So, for instance, Ninja here, right? He had 21.2 basically million troops inside of his city, which is obviously a very, very large amount. If we go ahead and click in here, as you can see, the majority of it is T5 inside of his city here. There's a few T4s with some garrison players here that were, added up to about 500,000. But you can see here 20.8 million troops of his own in his city and taking massive dead loss. This is basically over 10% of his dead loss, or of his troops became dead loss because of the amount of troops that he had in his city. We saw the video earlier where his hospital, Solymar's hospital, filled up within 10-15 seconds, but that was a 2-minute rally. So the other 1 minute and 45 seconds of 10 rallies hitting his city was causing massive dead. And this was before Attila even came out, guys. So no Attila, no Takeda, no XY, no Nevsky, no Gilga, no Nebu. With the new rally commanders that are out now, it's even easier to zero these bigger players if you are in the right situation. Now, what situations are we talking about? The first situation I want to highlight is somebody who just sends a city rally to a city unsupported. Well, in that case, the city player actually has the benefit the more troops you have, because you're going to melt that rally so quickly that it's not going to have time to fill up your hospital. So in that situation where you're kind of in the middle of a zone and they're just sending rallies because they took the pass, those are situations where you're actually going to benefit by having more troops inside of your city. But if you are in a situation as a city player with this many troops in your city, and you're in the front lines, or even worse, you've random teleported into an area and you're near an enemy's flag or fort area, they can teleport a ton of people in, and then you run into the problem where they can actually reinforce their rallies. That's where you start to run into the problem of having too many troops, because if you have too many troops and these rallies can stay afloat with reinforcements, the tank rally will take some damage, no doubt about it, but the other rallies or even the main rally will get a positive trade or a somewhat positive trade like this one here, where you're going to be having massive dead loss for the player. And I would much rather, as an alliance leader or a kingdom leader, have this rally on the right from 44L. They lost 3.6 million troops, but in reality, each player only lost 50, 60,000 troops, 30,000 troops, 50,000 troops, 40,000 troops, 1,500 troops, right? They lost very minimal per player, but Ninja lost 2.4 million troops. That's a direct impact. Now, obviously, with players this size, right, Ninja doesn't mind the swipey swipe, right? So he can get those troops back, no problem. But that being said, I'd much rather have this trade over here, even though it's a negative troop count trade. If you break it down per player, it's really not that much. There's just not much being taken away from all these players because of the reinforcements. If you have this many troops in your city, you're going to take hits like this if you get imprisoned and if you get properly rallied from these other alliances attacking you. This is where you're going to have a negative trade. This is where you're going to have a detrimental effect by having too many troops. So what's the sweet spot, right? So as a player that wants to do those things and doesn't want to have too much risk when it comes to actual dead loss, because most people can't afford to replace 2.4 million T5 troops like that, like Ninja, like Baba, like all these other players, right? So most players can't do that. They want to be able to do those activities like random teleport into an open area in an enemy zone and maybe be able to take a rally, even a reinforced rally. What do we do, right? What's the number? Well, from what I've gathered, personal experience, especially since Attila Takeda came out, and especially since all these newer rally commanders and newer garrisons, don't get me wrong, if you got a Xeno in your city, you're healing yourself, guys. So you're keeping your city garrison alive longer than it technically should be, and that will hurt you in the long run, even though, you're going to be doing good from a trade standpoint, just like Ninja here, you're still going to take dead. Okay, so eliminating that opportunity is kind of the name of the game for most players that want to do that activity, but also want to minimize their dead count. The number that you really want to stay around is that 80 to 90 million mark. That's why the majority of my accounts, with the exception of my 307 account, which I just powered up on the video that you see above you, that's kind of where you want to be, 80 to 90 million. That's where I keep most of my accounts as well. So if I do get rallied and it's a reinforced rally or a double or a triple rally, very small amount of dead that I get compared to what I cause to the rallies that are hitting me. You just need to last until your city gets to 0, until you burn, basically, okay? Now, you're not, when I say 0, I mean, you're not going to lose all your troops, but your health bar goes to 0. So as you're getting rallied in Rise of Kingdoms, whenever your health bar is going down, it's basically the health bar of your rally battle. It's not the health bar of your entire city, okay? So what that means is that if you're filling your hospital, the shorter amount or the lower amount of troops that you have in your hospital, the quicker your health bar is going to go down. And eventually it's going to get to the point where you're going to fill your hospital and your health bar is going to be right there in the red anyway. And if you do take dead, it might be in the tens of thousands versus the, in Ninja's case, again, 2.4 million troop range. So that's the difference between having too many troops for a rally that's properly reinforced or multiple rallies that are properly reinforced versus having somebody like an 80 or a 90 million player jump out into a zone, an enemy zone, and taking a rally. They might lose at most maybe 100,000 troops, and again, do 2, 3, 4 million troop damage dead numbers to all the other troops from a rally and a swarm standpoint. So you just got to be careful. Now, if you're imprisoned and you have War Frenzy and you get multiple rallies on you and you're low enough, like say 70, 80 million power, then people can just start swarming you down. So you got to be careful. But from a rally to garrison standpoint, 80 to 90 million is kind of where you want to be to minimize your dead, but also maximize the dead that you cause to your enemy. Now, another concept that we're talking about, you know, I saw Chisgule's video a few weeks ago where it was like, can you rally players like Baba? Like, is it reasonable? Is it feasible? Using this knowledge, using this idea, first off, we've done it. We've done it. And it's only gotten easier with Attila, with Nevsky, with, again, Nebu, with Gilga, with all these other commanders that are built to cause maximum severely wounded on a city. Yes, the answer is yes, you can do it. It needs to be coordinated and a little bit of luck when it comes to if it's a very, very large player, if they're offline, like you saw earlier with Solymar. He was offline. He was doing other things in life, and he was like, oh, so I saw my city was rallied. Huh, sounds fun. Or whatever he was doing. Like, it's a mobile game. You can open it up on your phone and bubble. But anyway, you know, that's kind of where, you know, you need to understand the concept of the game. If a Baba, like over 1 billion power, well, now he's under 1 billion, you know, been doing some fighting in KBK, you know, he can still be rallied. He can absolutely still be rallied, but it needs to be coordinated. It needs to be the exact right opportunity. You know, he needs to be off territory. He needs to be, you know, somewhat offline, or even if he is online, you need to make sure that you have a bunch of rallies ready to go right away with maximum reinforcements around his city and no assistance from any other players. Because again, another 3 million troops and your larger city capacity garrisons with the tech, right? That can help a lot, especially, you know, whenever we're talking about minimizing the dead that Baba would take. But if you can maximize that rally set, right? You got 15 minutes. If you can maximize that rally set to where you have maximum rallies on Baba, you have maximum reinforcements on those rallies, the tanking rally is going to hate life. They're going to absolutely hate life because they'll get a negative 10-to-1 trade, 100% chance. But all the other rallies, like we saw on the Solymar video, will get positive trades and a positive and a 5-to-1, 6-to-1 standpoint because, again, the rally leaders are so much better against the garrison leaders for cities right now, especially when it's a multiple rally situation, that because he has so much troops, his health bar just won't go down very fast. And after those first 10, 15 seconds of those rallies hitting the city, everything else will be dead. And if he can't bubble and he can't teleport, that's just going to be maximum dead going down. And as you saw on the Solymar video again, he went from 350 million power down to 280 million power in one set of rallies. That took 2 minutes. You have a good window inside of an imprisoned bubble to go ahead and get that thing done. So the answer to that question of can you rally a bigger player and cause damage? Yes, you can. You just have to know what you're doing. You have to be coordinated. You have to be prepared. And that's where you're going to get the actual damage done. Now, if you go in there, you imprison the guy, you lollygag around for 5-10 minutes trying to get some things together and figure out who's going to rally what and what troops, and you're not going to get anything done. You're just going to kill your troops. Don't do it. You just wasted your prison. Hope you have a good shot on the next time. But for somebody, an alliance, a kingdom who is very organized, who is ready to pounce on that kind of an opportunity, you know, those are the kingdoms that are going to get those kinds of rally reports out, those kinds of exciting moments in Rise of Kingdoms where it's a defining moment in the game where you're rallying the biggest player in the game. You're making a name for yourself, for your kingdom, for your alliance. Again, I mean, if you look at the AoE here, you know, he did very well on the AoE and the swarm, right? But again, it's still, from a concept standpoint, it is still very much a negative for him to have so many troops because he didn't die. Like, they did not burn him, and he still lost 2.4 million troops, plus whatever the swarms did to him. So maybe 2.5 million troops, something along those lines, maybe even 2.6. Yeah, we're looking at 60K, 70K. Maybe almost 3 million troops that he lost on the swarm plus the rally. Now, again, alternatively, he caused close to 4 million, 5 million troops to be dead. But still, I mean, that's kind of the idea here, is that you're looking at having all that damage go on one player versus spread out across 20, 30, 40 players at 40 or 50K a pop. To me, that's a no-brainer. Cause that one player maximum damage, and that way you don't have to worry about him bringing all those troops to the field. Now, again, he has, you know, he's going to have about 18 million troops to spare after he's, you know, done and got hit, right? But, you know, rally him again. So that's the idea behind the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have some insight yourself. Throw it in the comment section below if you have any insight on your own zeroings or your own garrisonings. Again, my recommendation is to be in that 80-ish million range from a power standpoint, because again, that's what's going to cause you to have minimum dead on a rally like this, where you don't get swarmed. It's just a rally situation. You have a minimum or 0 dead in those situations. So hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers, have a good one, and take care.